Hi, I'm Adrienne Katner. I'm an associate professor at LSU School of Public Health in New Orleans, Louisiana. Two of the most frequently asked questions that I get are, what is in my drinking water and what would be the best water treatment system for my home? Today I'm going to show you a few databases that are available online to anyone if you want to figure out what's in your water and what the best water treatment system is. So the first thing I'm going to show you is how to find out about contaminants in your drinking water. So basically, you just go to your computer and you can look up, you could Google or just look up drinking water and EPA. EPA stands for the Environmental Protection Agency, the federal government that's in charge of regulating drinking water. So the first thing you're going to see is a list. You want to go down and scroll until you see safe drinking water information, and then select that. Now when that comes up, you're going to see a list of selections on your left. And the database in which the drinking water is located is called the Safe Drinking Water Information System. So we'll go ahead and click on that. Now this is a great system because you can look by city or county or even your water system name. Or you can actually click on a map until you find your water system. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Louisiana, just as an example. And then you can pick your water system that way. Alternatively, if you don't want to go through a whole list of water systems, you can use the water system search on the right. So I'm going to go ahead and look it up by county. We'll just look at Louisiana as the primacy agency. And I'll look up Acadia Parish. Just click search. And a number of water systems pop up. Let's just say my water system happens to be the city of Rain. And what I'm really interested in learning about is the number of violations, and specifically what those violations are, because it's the violations that are going to tell you what potential contaminants may be in your water, and that's what's going to inform what kind of water treatment system you purchase for your home. So I'll click on number of violations, and you can go down. Two things that I see in Rain's water system are disinfectants, disinfection byproducts, and total coliform. So you want to write those down because you're going to be looking at that later to pick out the best water treatment system. So coliform is just basically water pathogens, an indicator of water pathogens. It can be completely harmless, some of them, but basically if you have coliform present, it may be an indicator that you could have water pathogens in your water. And then disinfection byproducts may also be a concern. The disinfection byproducts are carcinogens, and so you definitely want to find a system that will protect you from exposure to disinfection byproducts. So let's say you go onto the EPA's website and you don't see your water system. That may be the case, especially if they're updating their water systems at the EPA. So then you can look up your state, and in most cases, the state is basically the enforcement agency of the EPA's drinking water program. So you just go back to Google, and then you can look up drinking water program and the name of your state. In my case, my state is Louisiana. So the first thing that pops up usually is the name of your regulatory program that oversees drinking water regulations. So in the Louisiana Department of Health, it's the Drinking Water Watch. And the Drinking Water Watch is the name of the actual database where they house the drinking water data. So this is a very easy one to search as well. You can look by water system number. Most people don't know that. You can look by the water system name. For example, in New Orleans, it's the New Orleans Sewerage and Water Board. You can also look up by the parish served. So in this case, let's look up Acadia. So it's first. And then search for water systems. So let's go to the first one that pops up, the City of Rain water system. And again, you're going to see a lot of information about the water system on this first page. But on the left, you're also going to see links with more detailed information about the water system. So let's look up enforcement actions and violations. Again, that's where we're going to learn what's really in our water that we may be having problems with. So the first thing that I see is chlorine, inadequate chlorine residual. So chlorine is a disinfectant, and basically what that means is because you have inadequate levels of disinfectant, you could also be having water pathogens. So we spoke of that before, and that's basically what we saw on the EPA's website, that there were a lot of positive total coliform detections, and you would expect that if you have very low chlorine. So I'm going to show you another website, which is probably a little more useful, and it's not a federal or state governmental website. It's basically a website that helps you look up your water and also find a good filter for your home. It's the Environmental Working Group's drinking water data set. And basically what you want to do is just do a search for EWG. And again, that's the Environmental Working Group. And then just put in drinking water. The first thing that'll probably pop up is the EWG tap water database. So I'll go ahead and select that. So here you can enter your zip code and go directly to your drinking water system without even having to know the name or trying to scroll through different systems. So it's very useful in that way. So my system is on the East Bank, and I know that to be the Carrollton Waterworks. So I'm gonna go ahead and select it. Now this site's a little different because a lot of times our drinking water regulations are basically outdated, and so they're not updated regularly. Also, we also have a problem where we have contaminants in our water that are not regulated. An example of this is PFAS, which a lot of people know about. Right now, the EPA is considering regulations, but until that is done, the EWG puts out guidance, health-based guidelines for what levels of that contaminant should be in the water. And they're looking at the water levels of those contaminants based on their health standards, not necessarily regulatory standards. So while your water may exceed their health standards, again, it's not a regulation, it's just a guideline. So let's look down, knowing that. We'll look at the Carrollton station for New Orleans, and they see that there are 12 contaminants that were detected that exceed the EWG's health guideline. So what were those contaminants? Arsenic, bromodichloromethane, chloroform, dibromoacetic acid, etc., etc. Oh, look, there's a lot. Radium, nitrate. So what do we do? Well, it's going to be a pain to look for all of these contaminants in a water filtration system. So one of the things that I really like about this site is if you keep scrolling down, they also give you a guideline as to what are the best water treatment systems for your home. And you can look at that contaminant and look at the different water treatment systems that they outline for you. And it basically there'll be a little check mark underneath that water system if it removes that water contaminant. So if we just do a quick scan of the EWG's website, we can see that probably the best water treatment system, the one that filters out the most of these contaminants, is a reverse osmosis system. Now that may be too expensive for a lot of people, and so the cheaper variety is the activated carbon. You can get a pitcher filter. You can also get a faucet mount. These are things like Brita and Pure, and they're very cheap and easy to install. If you don't have one of those taps where it's easy to install a faucet mount, you can just buy a pitcher filter at your local Walmart or Home Depot. And those are in the amount of about $20, $25. And usually you'll change out your filter every 3 months. So it's very cheap. The filter's also very nominal in cost. One more site I want to go and show you is nsf.org. NSF, if you look up NSF water filters, NSF is basically an independent certification system. What they do is they test water treatment systems, and then they'll certify them. They'll certify them and they'll tell you what it's been certified to remove. So they test it in a lab and they make sure that those water treatment systems actually work. So if you look up and Google NSF, water filter, you may even look up the contaminant that you're concerned with. Let's say in this case lead. They have a lot of information about lead water treatment systems and systems that are certified to remove lead in drinking water. But if you're not interested in lead, they also have a really great query system for you to go and look for specific types of filters that you may be interested in. This is the page that gives you a lot of information about filters, and they'll tell you with these links which filter systems are certified to remove lead. These are the brand names, the names of the filtration systems that, for example, 3M Purification puts out. So NSF is really great because it also has this great query system. If we go back, I'm going to look up NSF water filter query tool. And the first thing that pops up is search for NSF certified drinking water filter. So this is a great query system because it allows you to go in and look for specific models and brands that are certified to remove the contaminants of interest. So you can scroll through this query tool. You can look it up by manufacturer, brand name. You can also look it up by product standard. So in this case, we saw that New Orleans, they recommended a reverse osmosis water treatment system. So if we just hit that and then press search, they give you a long list of all of the water treatment systems that they have certified. These are the reverse osmosis treatment systems that they have certified. And in the right, you'll see the specific contaminants that they certified. So a lot of them you'll see a lot of metals, lead reduction, cyst reduction, a lot of things like that. So that's a really great thing to look at to select the best water treatment system for yourself. But another really great thing about this particular water system query is that you can also look by the reduction claim. So if you keep scrolling down when you get to that query tool, you can look up specific issues. So let's say you are interested in, well, let's say you have problems with your disinfection byproducts. You can go in and you can select the specific disinfection byproduct that you saw in your water system. Then you can go down and select that and do a search. And then these are the systems that are certified to reduce that specific disinfection byproduct. So that's how you basically can find out what's in your water and how to filter it out.